Hey up lads and lasses, Damphyre here, back again with some more Infinite Lagrange. Today, going through the patch notes because they're quite substantial and pretty damn interesting. I wasn't originally going to do it, and then I started reading through, I was like, this is actually kind of cool. So, without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. New features and adjustments for all star systems under the Node Recovery Agreement and Dawn Exploration Agreement 2.0. Galactic factions, hereinafter referred to as NPCs, possess several autonomous capabilities. They can execute strategic actions such as announcing star system events, building strongholds, and executing large-scale rally operations. In this update, we'll introduce even more NPC features and gameplay, creating a multifaceted spectrum of characteristics. Meanwhile, we are also integrating these NPC features and gameplay into every system agreement eventually. So we start off, it's going to be Node and Dawn, and then eventually it'll be through everything. So that's why I wanted to cover this now quickly, because it's actually pretty substantial. We've had some changes in the past to AI, the NPCs. We had the changes where you had the aggressive, passive, and defensive stances of cities. Then we had the ability to play around with cities a little bit. You can upgrade them and that kind of thing. And now we get new NPC characteristics that will no doubt be linked or part of the sort of aggressive defensive stances of cities. So yeah, it's definitely sounding interesting. So, new NPC characteristics. Aggressive expansion. Mainly developed through military expansion using frequent military operations to gain control of space stations and cities in the star system and radically expand its sphere of influence to achieve its goal of gaining control over the star system. That means potentially we'll have to see it in play, but that sounds to me like they're going to attack you if you own the city, and they're quite likely to try and attack other NPC cities, which could be really interesting. Because if you can maybe time an attack at certain points after the NPCs hit a city, you could try and come in afterwards and get the city with a lower amount of fleets in it, or fleets that have been hit, or even maybe potentially try and help them a little bit. So there's definitely some fun shenanigans that could happen here. And, as they mentioned, they're going to start using rally attacks and all sorts of fun stuff. So we're going to see a more active sort of world, as it was, which is going to be quite nice. You also get payback with interest. Once a space station or city in its jurisdiction is attacked, it arranges many member factions to gather their elite military forces and launch strong counterattack to retake the space station. So again, another interesting one. We sort of have this at the moment. I think it's a node recovery, where if you hit a city and you take it, you'll get swarmed in by a load of NPC ships, and sometimes there's enough of them to take the city back if you've just taken substantial damage, especially the higher level cities. So again, another interesting one, because you're going to have to plan maybe defense straight after you've done the attack. So yeah, quite cool. Deterrent strategy. The members of this faction have a powerful military force and adopt a deterrent strategy to defend their strongholds. They regularly dispatch well-equipped armed fleets to patrol and scout the jurisdiction of other orgs, and they will immediately eliminate all hostiles fleets they find. So again, another interesting one. We've had this similar before, where if you build too close to a city or something like that, you'll have fleets come out to try and attack you. This sounds like it's going to go further distance than that. We'll have to wait and see though for certain. But it does sound like if you're within sort of the vicinity of their sort of controlled space, they may very well just go, I don't like the guy over there, let's send out something to go blow it up, which is going to be fun. For veteran players, this is interesting, more so I think than for newer players, because sometimes newer players can struggle with the NPC fleets, especially later on in the game. when, you know, they have their carriers and stuff out as well. Sometimes they don't have really good counters to, like, even NPCs using carriers, so it's a bit more difficult for them. But if you're in a union, should be good. Veterans, though, we get to test fleets out a bit more, and anything with more combat's normally a good thing, in my opinion, even if it is PvE. We then have rapid deployment. The members of this faction will develop strongholds or expand their area of influence according to their current situation to actively improve the comprehensive galaxy influence and occupancy of their own. So this is quite an interesting one, because if they're referring to the ability for them to make new strongholds, and I'm not entirely sure what they're referring to like that, because the only strongholds we see so far are the ones around the city. If this allows them to deploy strongholds and have like mini fleets and little forward operation bases just outside and dotted around, that's going to be quite an interesting one as well. Stronghold construction, with a primary emphasis on stronghold construction as a development approach. The org will utilize the affiliate space stations to carry out building missions to facilitate their expansion. Again, similar to the one above, they are potentially going to be dotting strongholds all over the place. Full mobilization. The org of this galactic faction possesses full mobilization capabilities, allowing them to direct their affiliated space stations as strongholds to execute multiple strategic actions within a short amount of time. If this means that they get a bit scared because you're setting up to go take a city, and all of the cities they control within that region go, well, we don't like that, they send all of the fleets at you, that's a scary prospect. That's a hell of a lot of fleets to try and get through, potentially. It's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out for certain. We then have standard mobilization. The org of this galactic faction possesses standard mobilization capabilities, allowing them to direct their affiliated space station strongholds to execute strategic action within a certain period. So it doesn't say short period here, it's a certain period, so might be a little bit easier to deal with. We'll have to see. Maybe sort of more passive, like waves come in, you get a wave of enemies and there's another wave that comes in a bit later, as opposed to full mobilization. We also have active mobilization. The org of this galactic faction possesses active mobilization capabilities, allowing them to direct the affiliated blah blah station strongholds to execute strategic actions step by step within a certain period. So maybe that's more of a wave one because it's a step by step, or does it mean they're going to try and like move up forward a little bit and then they'll sort of bunny hop over with more fleets and they'll keep doing that forward? We'll have to wait and see. Threat recon. Defense fleets will drive away large fleets near the space station. Smaller fleets with a low threat level will not be disturbed. So this will ignore your scouts, which is kind of nice because I use scouts quite often to try and get my large, slow-ass fleets into position. Especially on the attack, I'll run a scout up if we haven't got an org up with my own op down and one to the stronghold, so I can warp my fleet over. I know some people like slow boating, I don't. So at least my scouts aren't going to get blown up by the sound of that. Total vigilance. Defense fleets will drive away any fleet that comes close to the space station. So this is how it currently is. If you have enough stuff there and it's an aggressive style city, it will just blow up anything you put near it or attempt to, which is... It's caused some struggles I've seen before for some of the newer unions to deal with high-level aggressive cities. They're getting too close, and then all of a sudden they have fleets all over them, and then just not prepared because the attack was scheduled for later or something of that nature. Make peace. Defense fleets will drive away small fleets near the space station, so they will... Sounds like they'll more extensively target things like your recons and your smaller fleets. Just try and keep you away. I'm not sure how useful that one will be for them, because if you're going to take the city, you're just going to take the city. Extensive recon. Defense fleets possess an even larger recon range, allowing them to execute patrolling and alert tasks outside the area of the space station. So, pretty self-explanatory. They can travel further away doing recon missions and that kind of thing. We We also have optimized the NPC system for explorers. Explorer orgs under the same community. The subordinate space station NPC will no longer proactively attack explorers' fleets belonging to the same community. I've had this a couple of times in the community that I'm in. I don't know why. We hit a city, I pulled my fleet back, and about 20 minutes later, I left my fleet over in an outpost to the right or something like that, I think it was. I just got attacked by the city that our friends just took, so it was a bit of an odd one, that. Added new side story missions to enrich the story submissions and the narrative experience. I hope to God that these side mission stories are actually good, because if they actually add a story element to this game, in the way of side missions and questing and stuff like that, I think it'd actually be quite good, especially for players that just want to sort of chill out and relax maybe one server instead of all-out war. You know, giving them something to do, and if the story's decent as well, it's nice. Hope to God it's not just, you know, escort shit rubbish that they put in, because that is terrible, and as far as I know, I don't think anyone does it. Let me know down in the comments if you do those escort missions. Generally, they're a waste of time. You can get more UEC doing other things, and yeah, I just don't see the point of them, unfortunately. Plus, you know, you're sending your ships off, so now you don't have some of your ships while they're escorting, which could be detrimental in the middle of war, or if you maybe want to take a city later on, so on and so forth. And you can lose the ships if the escort fleet gets attacked and blown up. Added new display effects for Galactic events in the star map. We added new blueprint tags to Tech Route, the new blueprint screen, Jupiter Industries Tech Support and Trade Center, United Tech Files. The blueprint tags will briefly introduce the characteristics of the blueprints for the corresponding ships. Optimize the description of rules on the enhancement and recycling of strategic assets to make them more consistent with the effect of the actual rules. Optimize the text of mail reminder that is sent when the base is unable to accommodate ships that retreated from a subfleet. Add a new interactive method of tapping to view details of archive and trade center. Upgrade the graphics effects of common weapons when they cannon weapons when they open fire. That'd be an interesting one to check out. Unfortunately, I'm in the hub at the moment, so when this patch went live yesterday, I'm unable to test like any of this out. So we are queued up for a server, so I'll be in a server soon. I think soon TM. I think it's about 72 hours or something like that. We're waiting now. Added sound effects for completion of operations when enhancing blueprints, and optimize the display of the space background in Expanse. They also added a feature that can be used to get Sparkle to recommend a price range when listing items in the Angulum store. So there we go. And there's some bug fixes. Bug fix, resource consumption reduction of equipment to not be displayed properly, and explorers to incorrectly claim rewards for Galactic events without entering the relevant star system. I didn't know that one was a thing. So yeah, it looks pretty good. So we're gonna have to get in there and test it out. If anyone's in server now, I don't know if this applies to servers currently or not. They don't mention it. So if you're in server in this patch here, I don't know if it'll apply in that server or it's from new servers and onwards. I'll definitely find out if it's new servers onwards, because I'll get into that. So if you're in a server now when this patch has dropped, drop me a message down below and let me know if you've noticed any of these NPC characteristics happening, because it'd be pretty cool. So yeah, you can see here on the picture as well, we have the, if you click on the org, you can see that there's stronghold construction here with standard mobilization, and they'll make peace. So we know here that they'll build strongholds apparently, or upgrade them or something. Standard mobilization means they'll do the attacks and possibly a wave, but we'll have to see. And make pieces, they'll target all your small things like your recons when you're around a city. So pretty cool that we're getting some new changes. I'd love to see at some point a way of like working with the NPCs. I know you can in, I want to say Node, but I don't think it is. I think it's Dawn Exploration Agreement, where you can work with the NPCs kind of. I'd love to see a way where you can like actively work with them, you know, provide cities with resources and they upgrade the base and the city itself, increase the amount of fleets they have if you provide them with resources, help them on attack and defense against other orgs, and then you have to sort of align each union or each group community aligns itself to like one of the factions or something of that nature. That could be a lot of fun if they did a server like that. Yeah, anyway, so that is it from me. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.